Well, how about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. It's Monday afternoon. Supposed to have a video come out tomorrow. If you're seeing this, it came out. Didn't know if I was going to be able to get a video out, and just been super busy. We've been doing a lot of stuff with the community this weekend with the JCs. We had our Oktoberfest, and the JCs helped out with it. A lot of little projects not worth filming, and some family stuff too. So just been tied up all weekend. Didn't get a chance to make a video. So I kind of got at a dead end where I was this afternoon, and so I figured I'd break out the camera. We can kind of just talk and see where it goes. I don't know what we'll talk about, but we'll show you the animals and show you some things that are coming up and what we got going on. So I hope you enjoy the video. This is what I was working on. I was getting ready. I was putting up a new pig pen, our next section. These guys are about ready to move. Looking at their feeder, they've got probably about 2 days before we're gonna move them. That's kind of how I've been judging. I've been filling up their feeder, and whenever they clean out the feeder, that's about the time they're gonna move. I need to put the top back on it. But that's about the time they're gonna move. They got about 2 days worth of feed left in there. Still have one little guy that won't get with the system. Other than that, everybody else is staying in the 2 wires pretty well. This guy is actually gonna be going up the road in 2 days to where we take the goats occasionally to graze. That family right there that lives up there decided they wanted to raise a pig. I've got a little boar pig that we're gonna grow out to breed. So they're gonna feed it out and kind of tame it down some a little bit. We're gonna take a buddy to him up there. This is actually his brother right here eating on these trees I just cut down. He's a little skinnier, so we'll take him up there with him, and they can get a little extra attention, get fat and happy up there. But like I said, I was working on this pig pen. My drill bit broke. All my drill bits are at my house, so it's not going to get finished today. Try to knock it out tomorrow. Pig's gonna move in about 2 days, so we have time. One of those little projects that I was doing where I didn't have time, I didn't film, it just wasn't worth it to me, was tearing out our old pig pen. I don't know if you've seen it in the past, but we used to have a catch pen here, a smaller pen here. This is our old pen. Sorry about the wind. It is super windy today. Got an old load and shoot. We're gonna keep the load and shoot intact. But as far as the old pig pen, we're gonna be putting some pigs in it, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. Got to do some work on the fence up here, and then we're gonna put the pigs in there, let them clean it up, and then we're gonna put a dividing fence down the center of this, so we can rotate on these 2 little pieces right here. But the goats are up here. Let's go check them out. So the goats have been out here on the neighbor's property for pretty much all day. I think my dad was off today. He let them out at 9 this morning. It's about 6 now, so they've been out for a good little while, got their bellies full. Right before dark, I'll call them in and get them back in the pasture, lock them up where they're safe. I don't know if you can see it right where all those goats are. All those watermelons right there. We need to go pick them. My neighbor's house, one of my neighbor's house, not the guy that owns this property, but his house is right there. I'm not gonna show it on camera. But I guess he threw a watermelon out there at some point. And for the past couple of years, there's been a bunch of watermelons growing in this little spot. I need to go pick 1 or 2 to see if they're right. So we're actually supposed to get our first frost tomorrow morning. I think it's supposed to be 32 degrees when we wake up in the morning. And you know, yesterday it was 75. I had shorts on, short sleeves. I broke a sweat messing around in the yard. Tomorrow, I guess that's gonna be a different change. South Carolina weather is a little crazy at times. Going from 75 degrees to 30 degrees is gonna be quite the adjustment to make. I hope all the animals will handle it well. I'm sure they will. The pigs are kind of below a hill, so they're blocked from the wind for the most part. The goats should be just fine. And actually tomorrow we're gonna be working all the does and the steer goats. We're gonna be taking them down to our lower barn, lower catch pen, and running them through the chute probably. Deworming again. Who needs to be dewormed? We dewormed probably 2-3 weeks ago. I can't remember. And it was probably 75% of the herd needed to be dewormed. We're just gonna go through them again, double check them, and worm who needs to be wormed. You know, these does are getting ready for breeding season. We've got that coming up real soon. So we just want to make sure that they're healthy. Sorry, I've got some pigs catching my eyes. But we want to make sure they're real healthy. Make sure they can start their pregnancy well, they can cycle well, So we're just gonna run them through and deworm who needs to be dewormed. And speaking of that, I use Prohibit a good bit deworming. Right now we're using Prohibit and Valbazen as a combination dewormer. I went to the feed store today and bought some Valbazen, and I also tried to buy some Prohibit, but Prohibit was not on the shelf. I called several stores around. Nobody has it. I looked online, it's out of stock. I talked to the guy at the feed store, said it's been on order since August. So if you see some Prohibit and you use it, you need to grab it, because there's no telling how long it's going to be till we're able to get that again. So we're going to be using the Valbazen. If we have to, we might go buy some Sidectin and use that as well. We're just going to, like I said, probably tomorrow, we're just going to use the Valbazen and hope it works out well. Hopefully we clean out the worms out their system. But actually today, when I was at the feed store, I went ahead and picked up 2 protein tubs, 24% crude protein beef conditioner tubs or beef tubs. That's what we're going to be nutritionally flushing our does today. I went ahead and picked it up today because I have a habit every time I go into the feed store, I think I need something else. And that's kind of what happened today, but also I was saving myself a trip next week, so maybe I won't spend any money in there next week. But we got that. We're going to be giving one of those to the bucks and one of those to the does, and whenever we split our breeding herds, one herd will get one, the other herd will get one. But we're going to talk about that in a whole video. I'm going to save that for a video. That's going to be the first of next week when we do that, and so the video should be soon following that. But I'm up here with the larger pigs. I fed them yesterday. They're good. I just checked their water. They're growing really, really well. Part of that's because they're kind of confined in that smaller space, but they've been eating the feed like crazy as well. I need to let them out in this little yard right here. There's a couple white oaks right here, and there's some big old white oak acorns right here. That's one reason I'm having trouble keeping these little pigs where they're supposed to be, because those white oak acorns are falling and they're tearing them up. But I might let them out here in a couple days, let them get out here and root around a little bit and get their fill of some acorns. But they're doing really well, and that system is actually working pretty well. They're using the bathroom in the same spot every day, so there's kind of a pile there, but about every 2 days I throw a bunch of hay on top of that, and they kind of work it in. So it's working out all right. I wish I had some wood chips. I probably would use the wood chips over the hay, but the hay was free, so we'll just use the hay. And if we get some wood chips for free, maybe we'll switch over to that. So my brother actually went to see my grandma yesterday and picked up some bales of hay. These 4 are already here. 2 new ones are here. We're just putting them in a line, touch them at the backs to kind of eliminate water getting on the ends as much as possible. But I think he needs a little help. Let's walk up here and see what he's got going on. Looks like I got promoted to tractor duty. Huh? Look at Matthew's new rig. Big money hauler. Got to worry about pulling with my truck no more. We got Matthew. Driving one hand ain't working. Well, that should be enough to get us started. We still got plenty more to bring back up. That'll last us a couple weeks. So I know we said we're gonna try to get away from grain, but yeah, I'm not gonna get away from it completely if I need it. These are our bucks right here. I pulled them off the pasture beside the does, so the does would stop cycling. So I wanted my bucks out of sight for at least a month before breeding season, so they're gonna be stuck down in this pasture. I could have put them out here in this pasture with sirloin right here, but I just planted oats and stuff in there, so I kind of want that to come up pretty well. So the bucks are just gonna hang out in this little pen for a couple weeks. I'm really gonna try to sell them young bucks here soon. I was actually, considering using this guy as a cleanup buck, but he kind of got a little wormy, so I'm not going to be using him. This guy right here is related to a lot in the pasture, so if I had to use him, I could, and I just have to take his mom and his aunts out of the pasture. but I think we're just gonna trust Clyde and hopefully he can get the job done. But the rabbits, everybody over here is doing pretty well. I actually just bred the rabbits about 2 weeks ago, so should have some babies in about 2 weeks. Got 2 bucks and 2 does in here. Their water, make sure it's good. Yeah, it's good for the day. We got some food. Yep. And then we have, I moved the rabbit tractor out there so the goats wouldn't mess with it. But we got 5 does in there. Next project for me is going to be building another rabbit hutch. We're going to go ahead and build another rabbit hutch, probably identical to this little 4-bay rabbit hutch. I really enjoy growing the rabbits, so I think we're going to keep doing it. See if we can sell some, put some in the freezer. I personally, me and Maddie's not fans of eating it per se, but what I'm really thinking about doing is I love some wild rabbit stew, kind of like a turkey stew or chicken stew. So I'm thinking about making a stew out of rabbits. So I want to grow a few out, sell some, butcher a couple, and maybe potentially make a couple quarts of stew to put in the freezer for the winter. Not least is our boy Sirloin. He's actually starting to grow out some. He was lazy as he could be for a long time, but now he's starting to grow a little bit, starting to eat a little more. He'll be going to the butcher in about February, I think. We haven't got an exact date yet, but he's starting to grow. Still has a little bit of a limp. Can't figure out what's going on with that. Well, I guess I forgot to mash record on doing my outro yesterday, so I guess I'll do it now. We got to see all the animals and talked about some things that are coming up. We've got several videos on the goats coming up. We're going to be nutritionally flushing. We're going to be deworming and just getting everything ready for breeding season that's just a couple weeks away. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I appreciate you hanging out in this video. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, and we'll see y'all on the next one.